Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA 5 video, we're going to be taking a look at 10 things you need to know before you end up buying the Declasse Tulip, which will be arriving in Grand Theft Auto Online very soon. So I'd say this is one of the more underrated vehicles that will be coming out over the next couple weeks and months in GTA Online, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So let's take a look at this car on the in-game website. That would be the Southern San Andreas Supersport site. And it is a 4-seater muscle car available for $718,000, making it the most expensive muscle car of this entire update, at least as far as the drip feed vehicles go. So that's kind of shocking because on the surface level, there doesn't look to be a whole lot that's too terribly unique about this car. The one thing that I might find is that it is a 4-door muscle car, and I don't know if there are any other 4-door muscle cars in the game. I mean, I'm trying to think off the top of my head right now. Dominator 2-seater, Gauntlet 2-seater. You know, most of the ones in game, if not all, are 2-seaters, which would make the Declasse Tulip in pretty rare company. Now, in case you guys are wondering what this car is based off of, it resembles an early 1970s Chevrolet Chevelle, which is one of the most iconic American vehicles of all time. So needless to say, this is a really cool car. Let me actually show you guys the interior now, and I'll also let you take a listen to the engine startup sound too, which it sounds pretty beefy. Let's take a listen. So this vehicle sounds amazing, has a pretty standard interior, but that's to be expected. When you bring this into the Los Santos custom shop, you will find that it has 17 options of customization, with the first unique option coming in the form of bumpers. So the front bumper, you basically have a couple of different options. You have a standard bumper, and then you have 2 different types of splitters, or 3 different types of splitters. Now, the only interesting thing about the front bumper is only the regular bumper options, stock and painted, will keep the license plate on the front. If you do any of the other options, no license plate will be added to the front. So if you do like that look, you're going to want to go for the top 2 options. And then the rear bumper has far less options. It only has stock or painted. That's it. So something to keep in mind right there. As far as the exhaust goes, you've got 5 total options: stock, straight pipe, chrome tip, race exhaust, and chrome plated exhaust. I like all of them. The last one is actually a side exit exhaust, which I think looks awesome, right below the bottom of the door sill. So big fan of that. After exhaust, we have hood options, and there's actually a lot here. And there's actually an interesting quirk with the hood as well. So you can see some of them here have pins that can be applied to the hood. Now, we'll actually talk about what that means a little bit later. Just sort of bookmark that for now. The other thing that's of note is there's a lot of like these big intakes that you can see here. And in first person, it makes seeing a little bit awkward. So just be careful when you are customizing this car. A lot of the hood options will make it incredibly difficult to see in first person. After that, it's time for the liveries, and the liveries on this vehicle are amazing. The first one is classic black stripes. I apologize for the paint job being so similar to what the black stripes are, but you guys can see it is 2 big bars that run across the hood, trunk, and roof. That's classic black stripes. Then you've got classic white stripes, which look really good as well. Exact same as the black ones, but in white. So some super iconic designs right there. Following that, it is racing stripes. And those racing stripes are kind of hard to see. In fact, let's actually change the color here. We're going to make this like a gray. And if we go back to classic black stripes, you can see that a little bit better. And then if we go back to racing stripes, you can see what it looks like too. I really like this, sort of like a fun geometric pattern on there. And I like it. It's minimalistic, but it still has that really cool sort of like chevron shape. Big fan of that. After that, we've got Outlaw, some Red Dead Redemption 2 vibes here. So I really like Outlaw as well. It puts these two thin black lines on the hood and then a larger black line that runs along the side of the doors of each side. And then it sort of gradients off as it goes towards the roof, which in my opinion looks really good. So that's Outlaw. The next three is sort of a parody, a reference to pop culture, if you will. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm sure you guys have heard that many a times. So those are the following three liveries that we're going to take a look at. The good, as you can see right here, is a single thick black stripe on the hood, roof, and trunk, which expands to the bumper and also runs along the side of each door. I really like this livery. Anytime you get like a black livery option, it's going to work really well with lighter colors like a white or a light gray or even something super bright like a vibrant red or a yellow. So keep that in mind. The bad, which is probably one of my favorites here, looks amazing. You're sort of getting like this super cool orangey yellow set of stripes along the side with like a tiny white stripe to go along with it too. And then that similar design on the hood. I'm a big fan of this one. I don't know why. It's simple, but I like the really bright orangey yellow. So that right there is the bad. And the ugly is sort of interesting too. You've got like red stripes with sort of gray accents on there as well. So this one's kind of hard to see with the color I have right now, but I like that. So that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Our first sponsored livery today is Tension, which is still pretty nice. A lot of like the sponsored ones tend to be over the top. This one is not. It's like those big blue stripes with Tension on the top, and then you sort of have white and blue stripes along the side. After that, you've got Badger. Now, I would have really liked this one if it wasn't for one thing, and that is the 42 on the right-hand side of the hood. Like, why is that there? It just looks so awkward. The rest of this livery is super clean with sort of that two-tone red on the bottom, but then you just got that awkward 42 on the hood. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that doesn't bother you guys, but it certainly does for me, so I'm not a big fan of that livery. And our last livery today, I'm not sure if this is a reference to anything, but it's Los Santos Night, and I really like this. It's sort of like a two-tone yellow fill on top with 31 on the side and sort of a bright blue outline. So I like that one. Again, I'm not sure if it's a reference to really anything, but I am a fan of those liveries. All of them are great in my opinion. So far, Rockstar have done an amazing job at the liveries on the muscle cars, and the Tulip is no exception. After that, we need to check out our primary and secondary color. This one is very simple. The primary color is going to have an impact on the majority of the exterior of the car, as you can see here, and the secondary color is going to have an impact on the grille, the bumper, and all of the trim, which I will admit looks really good in chrome, not so much any other colors. And also, the primary color will also change the stitching on the inside of the car too, on like the seats and the steering wheel. So that's something to keep in mind as well. After that, you've got a couple of spoiler options. Most of them are pretty simple, like lip spoilers, ducktail, low-level spoilers. You can get some exotic-looking ones. I kept it simple. And I'm sure you guys are curious about those wheels. Are they custom to this vehicle? The answer is no. Those are muscle wheels that you can actually apply yourself. They are spooner rims. So if you want to change the color or do whatever you want, the spooner rims are, for the most part, like 99% identical. So now that we brought this vehicle outside, do you remember what I said earlier about the latches that you could sort of put on your hood upgrades? Well, if you do that, your hood will actually not open. You guys can see that I have the little latches on there, and I feel like that looks great cosmetically, but it's also functional. The hood will not open unless, of course, you remove them. And then once you remove them, you'll be able to open up the hood like normal. And all the other doors on this vehicle, all four of them and the trunk open as well. So pretty cool stuff right there. Now, in addition to that, it is a muscle car, so it does have that brand new feature, the ability to wheelie from like a stop and start. And I feel like that's kind of cool. It looks a little bit awkward because of the four-door. You don't really see four-door muscle cars all that much, so that is sort of unique. Another thing that's unique about this vehicle is the name. You might be wondering where Rockstar got the name Tulip from. Well, there's actually a story to that. So the Declasse Tulip is actually a reference to the character Tulip O'Hare, who is a character in the TV show Preacher, which is kind of cool. And in that TV show, they drive a 70s Chevelle very, very similar to this. So that is exactly where the name comes from. It is a pop culture reference that you might not have known about, and that is pretty awesome. So overall, what's my opinion on this vehicle? Well, it's certainly more expensive than a lot of the muscle cars you're going to be buying in this game. $718,000 is not cheap, especially to spend on a muscle car. But it is unique. It's one of, if not the only, four-door muscle cars in Grand Theft Auto Online, which does make it pretty unique. And it has some really great customization too, and it is sort of a pop culture reference. And that might be where Rockstar is getting some of their price from, the fact that it is so heavily based off of a character from a TV show. But I'm not really going to be using this in races. I don't do muscle races all that much, and of course a four-door car is certainly not going to be faster than a two-door variant, but I still think it's a pretty cool car, especially if you're into muscle vehicles and into collecting, and just in general, this is cars based off of one of the most iconic American vehicles of all time, so I'm a big fan of it, but this vehicle is one that you might not necessarily find that you absolutely need. And if that's the case, you can always wait until likely a couple months down the line when it will inevitably go on sale. And Rockstar will do a discount of 25, 30, possibly even more percentage off. And then you can grab it when it's a whole lot cheaper. But anyways, that right there is 10 things you need to know about the Declasse Tulip before you buy this vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online. Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more on this car in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. Are you a fan? Are you not? If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily GTA and Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.